From your local election headquarters, here is This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Hello everyone, I'm Fred Childers. Hope you're having a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. Let's get started. Governor Landry started off the week signing several bills into law. Many of them, he says, will bring down our insurance rates. One law also makes it illegal to have a cell phone in your hands while driving. Reporter Michelle Masson breaks it down for us.
The family of Nicole Salter, who advocated for tougher distracted driving laws for years, finally getting their wish as Governor Landry signs House Bill 519 into law, strengthening our state's distracted driving laws. This bill prohibits browsing the internet while driving or making calls outside of a mount, likely reducing accidents and in turn higher insurance rates. Landry says he hopes several other bills he signed will also help lower insurance rates, both property and auto. They include House Bill 145, allowing families to retrofit their homes through the Fortify Roof program with a tax deduction.
The state auditor did a report that showed Fortify roofs are saving 22% on premium.
Landry also signed a bill requiring insurance companies to inform the Department of Insurance when it leaves a region. One allowing families to insure their homes for the actual stated value. Another protecting seniors from age discrimination when calculating insurance premiums. And another ensuring ad costs for insurance companies don't show up in policyholder premiums.
The men and women behind us have answered the call to put before the people of the state laws that should actually drive down the rates. So we'll see.
Another bill was also signed which requires insurance companies to inform citizens if they're raising rates based on their credit score. And Landry is focusing on modernizing and restructuring DOTD so road construction projects are completed in a more timely manner. In Baton Rouge, Michelle Masson, Louisiana First News.
Louisiana is the latest state to redefine natural gas as a source of green energy under a new law also signed by Governor Landry. The governor says the new law sets the tone for the future and will ultimately help the state. Environmental groups claim this is just rebranding fossil fuels as climate friendly instead of using other sources of energy like solar or wind power. 3 other states, Indiana, Ohio, and Tennessee, all passed similar laws. And some new laws are set to take effect here in Louisiana. This will include dozens of bills that could impact everything from education to elections. Some of the bills passed this session updates public school enrollment rules, taxes for short-term rental platforms, and makes some changes to retirement options for higher education staff. Louisiana's newest city, the city of St. George, now has new leaders. Another first in the young city's history. Louisiana First News reporter Deshaun Johnson shares how they view their responsibility.
Oh my God. Congratulations, man.
Familiar faces are now officially in charge of the new city.
I want to lead the city as a collaborative effort with other people in the city of St. George.
They have their own mayor, city council, and police chief. During the process, they came across several challenges, like creating their own school district. Mayor Dustin Yates says they're prepared to keep pushing through.
There'll always be roadblocks, but I've always been a firm believer that in great challenges come great opportunities, and that's what we really focus on.
Councilman Richie Edmonds, who now serves for District 1 in St. George, says he's eager to see what new ideas and changes can come to life, especially concerning development in the city.
We're going to need a lot of roads and streets widened, a lot of homes that are becoming, and so I think over the next 4 years, some of the main things we'll be doing is a lot of development in District 1.
One of the main topics is continuing to work closely with East Baton Rouge Parish to help better shape the community.
We have to learn the way. There are still going to be times with the parish and the city of Baton Rouge where we have to come together. We have to be unified together as a parish.
Yates says there's still a lot of work to be done, but he's also making it clear they're ready to get the ball rolling.
You know, we have some areas in St. George that need some help to get to where they need to be. So we're going to put a lot of effort and resources in those areas. And I think they're very important to not just me, but the entire community as a whole.
Deshaun Johnson, Louisiana First News.
St. George is still trying to get their own school district. The state has to vote on that next year, and if it passes, they'll get a district and a board, which could open the doors in 2027. One of the most famous televangelists, Jimmy Swaggart, passed away this week, more than 2 weeks after suffering a heart attack. Some Louisiana lawmakers reacted to that news. Take a look. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry wrote "Rest in peace" to Reverend Jimmy Swaggart. He devoted much of his life to bringing people to Christ. Our prayers go out to the Swaggart family during this difficult time. Attorney General Liz Murrill also shared a statement saying, quote, "End of an era. Rest in peace to a Louisiana legend. Please join me in praying for the Swaggart family and members of his congregation." And East Baton Rouge Mayor President Sid Edwards posted to Facebook saying, quote, "His ministry was a powerful part of Baton Rouge's faith community and his influence reached across the globe. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and church during this time." A few years have passed since state lawmakers passed legislation allowing college athletes to earn money from their name, image, and likeness, also known as NIL. This week, we're seeing some new developments there. A special report you can find online documents why LSU's been so successful in the NIL era. Chief Investigative Reporter Andrew Epperson has more.
Tuesday marks the start of a new era for LSU sports. The athletic department can now directly pay student athletes. What will these agreements look like? How will the money be divided up between sports? I asked these questions and more to someone very much in the know in a wide-ranging interview. Sights and sounds familiar to fans across Louisiana. In the NIL era, this is also a familiar sound. And thanks to a House settlement last month, athletic departments like LSU can now directly pay student athletes starting Tuesday.
It's a little bit of a new workload when it comes to figuring out what the management of the roster is going to look like and how we're distributing contracts and managing those contracts.
Taylor Jacobs is the Associate AD of NIL and Strategic Initiatives at LSU.
I probably operate more like a GM type now where, you know, we are issuing agreements.
The agreements are between student athletes and LSU sports. Players used to be paid through collectives like Bayou Traditions. Now LSU has direct control on how $20.5 million is spent.
I have to be on top of what are those dollar figures, what are those dollar values, making sure we're staying within the allotment that we have.
As New Orleans sports attorney Fritz Metzinger explained last week, LSU will give about $13.5 million to football, just under $3 million to basketball, about $1 million to women's basketball, and the same to the other sports combined.
Finding out the best way to spend money has always been a consideration for athletic programs. It's just that there are new ways to do it.
Contracts are already being signed. Jacob says two topics have been notably important: the pay schedule and what will be required from the athletes on and off the field.
Continuing to reiterate that there is going to be that deliverable component and making sure everyone understands that we're all on the same page, we're all on the same team, we all want to get to the same goal.
Metzinger says pay for play is a main feature of the last few years, where some players battled collectives for every dollar.
It's run rampant.
Jacob says universities can now rein that in because money is capped.
It's going to help a ton just because now we can actually be at the table having these conversations with them.
Third-party NIL deals will continue to be an advantage for a place like LSU.
And that teaches our athletes how to build a brand and a business as well, so that's something that we're continuing to do.
This brand is set up for continued success. Jacob says the controls to keep it up are now back in-house.
I mean, it's LSU, right? We win championships, we produce top talent, and we have top brands.
In Baton Rouge, I'm Chief Investigator Andrew Epperson.
Now, some other SEC schools have announced they'll have to lay people off to have enough money to support revenue sharing. Jacob says at this point, that's not in the plans for LSU. Coming up in just a second, some big changes coming to Entergy customers. Find out how this new service could affect people, including you. Stay with us.